Welcome everyone to the 7th Halls of Injustice. Today we are going to be revisiting somebody that we have in fact got an entire playlist on, and it should be quite interesting to see what has since transpired since we last covered them. I should point out now there are not as many videos as there were done by, for example, Joy Sparkles or now Repzion on Gregory Jackson, aka The Onion. Before we get into that though, I'm going to shill two things because why not? I have created an Etsy. It is linked below. I am intending on adding more things in the future, but I'm just working things out. Also, because of the recent art contest, there is new merch on Teespring. If you are at all interested in supporting the channel, both are linked down below. So the target for today's Halls of Injustice is Shamima Begum. If you don't know who she is, the playlist is linked down below, but I'm going to now give you the Cliff Notes. Shamima Begum, at the age of 15, fled the United Kingdom with two of her friends, one of which is no longer and sadly with us. They both fled to Syria through Turkey, where upon surrendering their British passports, they were then married off. Shamima married a Dutch jihadi, and they went on to have 3 children together, all of whom are sadly no longer with us. The more recent one was in fact used as a way of trying to get Shamima back into the United Kingdom. We'll get to that in a moment. Shamima became one of the jihadi morality police, and believed and justified for quite a while the Manchester bombing attacks because of attacks happening in Raqqa. Right. Well, Raqqa now looks like rubble, the Islamic caliphate that they created, because they imposed their will upon the people, bullied them into silence, harmed people unnecessarily, and endorsed and actively participated in acts of terror. Shamima is now 20, and last year, after having her 3rd son, she was interviewed by Sky. During the interview, she said she wanted to come home, but didn't understand at the time what she did was wrong, and that being the reason why she couldn't come back. The then Home Secretary Sajid Javid made it quite clear she's not coming home, something that has actually been restated by Priti Patel. She received her letter and was interviewed upon reading it, and went on to continue her life in the Islamic wives area of a detention camp. They were separated because the rest of the camps not overly fond, refugees that is, that were stuck in camps as well because of the damage done by the terrorist group. Months and months passed, with the family of Shamima desperately trying to get her to come back home to the United Kingdom, something when the BBC actually went to her local constituency and asked locals, the majority said, nah mate, nah, she can stay there. One of the fathers of the other surviving girl tried also to get his daughter home, as he himself has been caught at protests supporting Islamic State. No, definitely not. My view back then, and was always, and will always be, that children are innocent in all of this. The adult decision made by the moron, regardless of how groomed they were, is their load to bear, their consequence. The child should not be affected, and unfortunately because the child passed, the child was never given the life the child deserved. That being Shamima's 3rd one, the other 2 had already passed before then because, in the Islamic Caliphate, they didn't have medicine or enough food. Shocker, I know. Who would have believed it? Shamima lost her UK citizenship, which many believed made her stateless, an argument made by her lawyer as well. But that's not the case. In fact, Shamima holds dual citizenship with Bangladesh. Now, unfortunately for her, Bangladesh have also said, nah mate, she can stay out man. Nah. Which means she believes she thinks she's stateless, something reiterated many times by her somewhat controversial lawyer. I say somewhat controversial because he backs a lot of those ex-Islamic State Muslims, who paint a rather stark picture and show no remorse. He really does choose his clients well. So upon losing her citizenship, she stayed in her camp and was then moved. She was moved to another camp called Camp Sunshine. That's not a joke, it's literally called Camp Sunshine, because the Islamic wives were not overly fond of her showing ankle or her nose. There's a fetish, you know. At this new detention camp, she has access to television. Congratulations, you now get to watch cartoons, because at the age of 20, and being stuck in a detention camp, what you really need to take your mind off everything, it is Rugrats and Hollyoaks. No anime for you. Eventually, many months had passed, and Shamima indicated she finally understood where she went wrong and started to show guilt. Granted, the majority of us, let's say 110% of us, including herself, don't believe her for a second. So she continues in her fight to be allowed to come back to the United Kingdom, something which up until recently there was no news of, because it was going through a court of appeals, to have her citizenship given back, repatriated as it were, because, and the argument was, she's stateless, yo, in its swag. Not because she's a bad person who's committed crimes in that country and should face trial and justice in the relevant country, which is exactly what she should do. I'm sure all of you agree with that. I'm sure some of us, though, will start to say she was groomed. In fact, the very person who groomed her also went to Syria and is stuck there. Swings and roundabouts, I guess. My argument and counter to it is, while she was manipulated by somebody, she still went there and then got involved in things and admitted to it, which includes the morality police, and at the time she was an adult. She did, by the way, try and scapegoat her husband, who's also in prison in Syria, who also wants to go home. In fact, she even indicated if she could, they'd both go to the Netherlands because, I don't know, a degree of separation from the UK? Your best chance there is they put you on a canal boat and never let you out of it. Are you sure you want that? I'd like to live on a canal boat. Can someone make that? Make me and a canal boat one. I'd like that. My holiday. I'd like a holiday. Sorry, I deviated. Canal boats are fascinating. So the appeal went to the courts. And this appeal is based on the stateless argument, which is based on international law and is 100% illegal. So how did it go for Shamima Begum? She lost. Yeah, I know. Imagine my shock. Because, well, let's face it, she's not stateless because of her Bangladeshi background. Even though Bangladesh don't want her, it doesn't mean she's lost that citizenship. And it should be noted, she still committed a crime in Syria and therefore should stay in Syria until she has been prosecuted and summarily dealt with. I.e., justice is served, she does her time, and then she can be ejected if they want to eject her, which I'm sure they'll want to eject her because why would they want to keep a terrorist in their country? That means she is more than likely then going to be shipped off to Bangladesh, where she will be an outcast from the offset and will probably end up making those feminism is powerful women strong t-shirts. You know, the ones that are ridiculously expensive but cost absolutely zero to make. Yeah, those. The tribunal, which is led by the Special Immigration Appeals Council, is actually run by Mrs. Justice Elizabeth Lang, who said that the deprivation decision made by the Home Secretary did not render her stateless, with the UK government arguing, and successfully so, that under Bangladeshi law, Shamima Begum is a citizen of Bangladesh by descent, so cannot be made stateless by losing her British citizenship. Daniel Furner, her lawyer, Shamima's lawyer that is, has indicated he will appeal against this decision as a matter of exceptional urgency. To which I say, best of luck, champ. Judge Doran Bloom, when announcing the decision of the tribunal, indicated that the move did not breach the Home Office's extraterritorial human rights policy by exposing Shamima to the real risk of death or inhuman or degrading treatment, with the three conclusions being reached on the preliminary issues. 1, they concluded that the decision did not make her stateless. 2, they concluded that the decision did not breach the Secretary of State policy when he made the decision, which is 1. And 3 is whether Shamima can have a fair and effective appeal, which is accepted that Shamima cannot have an effective appeal in her current circumstances, but it does not follow that her appeal succeeds. Well, this is all turning out to be rather interesting, and I can't wait for the appeal to take place. I'm sure the Supreme Court, when they finally get their hands on this, are going to love it to bits. With this, I am very much interested to know what you all think about this. If you are familiar with the videos I've done so far, I'm sure you can draw a very quick conclusion, one which I am very interested to know about. So please do let me know in the comments below. So, as I'm streaming on Twitch tonight, that's also going to be linked down below. If I don't see you over there tonight, there is a new video on Moistonia Live linked also. I hope you'll have a fantastic Monday, and thank you all for listening.